Kev, you led under 17 to the Paddock Cup trophy earlier this month. Must have been a good tournament to be involved in.
Yeah, it's a great experience for the group. It was a 5v5 tournament in a tense environment, in an arena in Paderborn, Germany. Obviously, it was the first time that age band have played indoors together, so it was a great experience on all levels, really. Great tactical challenges for the group, and playing under pressure was a real tense German crowd. Being the only English team in the tournament, it was quite intense. So it was a great experience for everyone involved.
And the boys recovered quite well because I think they lost their first 2 games, didn't they? But
yeah. So in terms of the learning aspects of a tournament scenario, we're in a group stage. Top 2 qualified. The first 2 days we really struggled. We had good preparation going into the tournament, practiced and understood the rules and the dynamics of the tournament. But come the day of the first 2 games, we really struggled. We lost the first 2 games. The second game against Schalke, we lost 4-3, but we played quite well. So there were positive signs going into the next day. But as a group of staff, we decided on a game plan and a strategy to go into for the second day, and it managed to work well, and we ended up winning the tournament. So it was a good example for us coaches to learn and develop, but most importantly the players to understand and adapt to challenge and change very quickly, and the learning aspect for the boys was very encouraging.
And while this was going on, Hugh, you were elsewhere in Germany watching the under-19s in the Sparkasse Cup. They didn't win it, but they got to the final day and had some good performances along the way.
It did. We topped the group, but on the final day, unfortunately, we came unstuck in the mini group. Difficult situation in the group against FC Mainz because we went 2-0 up, conceded a goal, and then had to play a sin bin for 2 minutes, and in 5v5 that kills you. So we ended up losing 3-2, lost the first game, I think, punctured our chances of opportunity and went out in the second game. But as Kevin says, they're great opportunities. There was a time when I thought actually I had time to get across from Göttingen over to Paderborn to go and see the quarter-final and beyond of his group, but I did wonder whether I put the kiss of death on them, so therefore I stayed put, and Kevin and the boys were very pleased that was the case. The reality is, for all our players, to have these types of experiences is pivotal in their development, because you only have to look how players from Germany perform at senior level in pressure situations to know that they're achieving that because they've had the experiences at youth level. And the 2 tournaments we were at, there's a lot of intensity to them, not just on the pitch, but a lot of spectators, somewhere in the region of 3,000 at each on a daily basis, and that creates the type of environment that we don't replicate here very often. So that's one of the reasons why we want to test our players. It's not because it's indoor football, it's not because it's 5-a-side, it's because those are the situations that we put them in that they can't otherwise experience.
I mean, we're very proactive in trying to take part in these sorts of tournaments. We have been for years, and I suppose it's like what you were saying, it's very different to what they're used to experiencing on a Saturday morning.
Absolutely, and look, there's lots of great things about our academy programme, our games programme, and about our structure, and indeed the Germans recognise that, but we don't at the moment replicate this type of game situation, and I can't help but feel it's a big factor in the reason why other countries develop players with that winning edge, and it's something that we're very focused on.
I suppose some people might worry that now we're not a Premier League team, might not get invited to these high-profile tournaments, but I suppose it's a credit to us that we keep getting invited back. We must be impressing people while we're out there.
Well, we've got the Coach of the Year here who helps us to get the invitations. We're very fortunate that we work alongside a couple of individuals, one of whom is Gerald Prell, who helps us to get a lot of invitations. And I'd like to think it's because, regardless of the current position for the first team, people recognise that at youth level we are always very competitive and able to demonstrate good value and a good return for the tournament organisers. And records wise, we've done well in tournaments. Yes, we set out to do the best we can, but it is also about the experience for the players. And if you get the combination of a winning mentality combined with making the most of the experience, then hopefully the tournament organisers see the value of inviting us.
And Kev, going back a few months, we retained the Under-16 Premier League International Cup. It's been a good season for your age groups that you've been looking after this season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been brilliant, but obviously that's, you know, testament to all the work that's gone in for, you know, the foundation level, and then in the YDP with the different coaches that have worked with the group and players. Obviously we've taken the group on this year, and, you know, just tried to replicate a lot of the good work that's been going on, and we've been, you know, fortunate enough to win something, but the winning comes later for us. You know, really the development of the boys long term is paramount to us here. Their ability to be good people is very important, and obviously Hugh touched on a lot of the aspects of the tournaments and why we get invited back, all these sorts of aspects. But, you know, the behaviour of our boys, the character that they show, you know, is a real benchmark of what we do. You know, the 16s have done very well. The most important thing for us as a group of staff is that we've had a really big return on the players in terms of getting scholarships at the football club, and a couple that might not get scholarships for us, they will get scholarships elsewhere. We're very confident of that, and that's fantastic news for the players involved.
Now, I'll just add to that for a moment. I mean, the work of Kevin and his team, you know, it's testament to the work they've done, but we've recruited the right players in the first place, and this is the highest number of local players who've been offered scholarships at the football club in my 7+ years here. And it's taken a long time to get to this point, but we're absolutely thrilled with the number of local boys who have been offered scholarships. And it's a run on the ladder, but it's a very important run on the ladder, and hopefully a lot of them will be able to push on from here, because it is absolutely imperative that Fulham as a club draws into the London community for the most talented boys. And with this group of players, we feel we have.
Last year, the 16s won it as well. You know, it's not just a case of a group of coaches are doing well with a group of players. It's to do with the whole aspect of the academy. Recruitment's been massive, but, you know, it's a continued process of good groups of players that we're continuing to produce at the football club. And, you know, the winning of tournaments is extra special. As
Hugh mentioned earlier, Coach of the Year here, Youth Development Phase Coach of the Year at the FA Coaching Awards, and Hugh, we get a lot of recognition here in the academy for producing players who go on to have professional careers, but as academy director, it must also be a little feather in the cap when you get that sort of recognition for one of your staff.
Well, it's absolutely the case, yeah, and he's taken plenty of stick about it, by the way, which you know, I think is the nature. Listen, it's an excellent award, and we're delighted for Kevin, but as Kevin's been the first to acknowledge that this is part of a team effort, and, you know, there's a lot of people who go into making that, but it's an interesting development for the FA that they're looking at individual awards, and there's a lot of fantastic people out there in academy football who are getting recognised, and it's the right thing. In the end, the key priority for us is of course the players, but if you have the right people working with the right raw material, then you've got a good chance.
And Kev, it's almost 20 years since you signed for Fulham as a youngster. Do you ever think you'd be back here?
Can't be that long, Kev, can it?
I know. No, I've been very fortunate, you know. It's a fantastic football club. You know, we've got great staff. You know, we've just been lucky enough to be involved in it in the transition from, you know, League 2 to here, to Premier League before, but now obviously back in the Championship. But, you know, in terms of the way the club's grown and developed, I've been very lucky, and obviously to be invited back to work at the club in the academy for the 7th season now. It's just Hugh was one of my employed. He employed me, so I'm very lucky with that. And it's just been a great experience, and just for my coaching journey, you know, to try and learn from the best, because I believe the people at the football club are amongst the best at what they do in youth development. You know, all the people who work at the top end of the football club, their record of youth development and their players is second to none. So for me as a young coach, and a lot of the younger coaches in the phases, all learning and trying to grow, and they're very supportive in their advice, and it's just a team effort here. That's what we try and do.
I would just add to that it's really important that there's a Fulham Heartbeat here, and to engage former players in the coaching process is really significant. Currently, as Kevin, Mark Pembridge has returned to a role in the academy, which we're delighted. Kevin mentioned Vic Bettinelli, and of course his family are steeped in the club, with Marcus and Laura, his daughter, working in the physiotherapy team. So there's a lot of Fulhamness, if you like, about our academy, and I think that's a really important feature, and I hope that the people watching this will recognise that that's dear to us. And we overlay that with lots of people who have got a breadth of experience, as well as some new people coming in. And I think what should also be recognised, specifically in Kevin's case, and not that many people will know this, that Kevin was playing regularly for a range of teams, Wycombe Wanderers for example, in the league, and then coming out of an evening on a Saturday morning before first team games. I hope your managers knew that.
Yeah, he did.
And also then on Sunday mornings. And there was an occasion when I believe Wycombe Wanderers got promoted, and the following morning after that Saturday, Kevin was on the bus travelling to Southampton with his team to play a game when I imagine most of the rest of his compatriots were having a well-deserved lie-in. That's the type of dedication that's required in order to become a top coach.
Just finally, I know the audit's coming up for Category 1 status, getting that renewed. Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of keeping that status and what sort of preparations are involved?
The audit's absolutely vital. So we have a Category 1 status for 3 years, and at the end of the 3-year cycle there's an inspection. We've already submitted a huge amount of evidence to the auditors in advance of that inspection, and we're looking forward to it. It's an important opportunity for us to showcase the academy and to show the good work that's been going on in the previous 3 years. It'll be a 5-day inspection, and I'm sure no stone will remain unturned, and we're ready to meet the challenge. And retaining Category 1 status is not only vital for us now, but it's vital for the football club for the future. And the key thing for me about academies is that it's not about glossy buildings and great publications. It's actually about the people first and foremost, the players, their families, our team of staff, and creating the right culture and environment that supports the development of those boys. And we know we've got some challenges to overcome here at Fulham, but we absolutely believe that we are a Category 1 club on merit, and we certainly plan to be a Category 1 club for a minimum of 3 seasons following this one.